go back to a couple of previous slides. Here we are talking about when we use auxiliary be, do, have. Okay. So it's understood here that it is be. Okay. She was crying. It's understood. We're talking about be. So when we use the auxiliary, she was crying, she was doing something, she has something, okay, she does something, we use it. When we use auxiliary be, do, or have, a modal verb or main verb be in the main clause, the same verb is used in the tag. So we use the same verb in the tag. So was becomes wasn't, is becomes isn't, does becomes do, becomes doesn't, okay, doesn't becomes does, okay, and have becomes haven't, okay, do becomes don't, okay, don't becomes do, okay, don't you, do you, okay, that's the thing. You don't want to attend the party, do you? You do want to attend the party, don't you? Okay, that's the difference when you have the auxiliary. The second part here is when you don't have the auxiliary, it is understood that the person does something, okay? So here, he plays cricket, doesn't he? If the sentence was, they play cricket, what is the question tag? Can someone answer? Chetan, why don't you answer? My question to you is, Chetan, if the sentence was, he plays, the sentence here is, he plays cricket. My sentence is, they play cricket. What is the question tag?
Don't they?
Very good, excellent. Excellent.
Don't they?
Excellent, excellent. So very good answer. They play cricket, don't they? They don't play cricket, do they? Okay, they don't play cricket, do they? Okay, so good answer, excellent. And with will, it's rather straightforward. Will becomes won't, won't becomes will. Okay, so that's straightforward. Thank you, thank you. Let's continue with the next person. Guys, there's a lot of sound in the background. I request others to please be on mute. Okay, Sangeeta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Please answer the next one. Go ahead.
Doesn't she?
Read the entire sentence, please.
She dance beautiful. इसका टैग हुआ है doesn't she?
Very good, thank you. She dances, plural. Okay. She
Okay,
dances.
she dances.
Can you read the sentence again? I want you to read it again for the pronunciation.
She dances beautiful, doesn't she?
Is it beautiful? The pronunciation.
Beautiful.
Read it again.
Beautiful.
Beautifully, it is.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
She dances
Adverb.
beautifully, doesn't she?
Doesn't she? Very good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. She dances beautifully, doesn't she? Okay. Beautifully here is an adverb, manner. Okay. How does she dance? She dances beautifully. Okay. There's a question here. What is the question tag of are? Are becomes aren't you, and aren't you becomes are. Okay. Are becomes aren't becomes are. Okay. Good question. Okay. Yes. So dances beautifully, doesn't she? Let's continue. Shubha, can you hear me? Shubha, can you hear me? You can unmute from your end.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please answer the next one.
Girl wanted to.
Yes, can you hear me, Shubha? Please answer the next one.
Yes, sir. The girls wanted to go home, didn't they?
The girls wanted to go home, didn't they? Okay. So here, basically, when you make a sentence like the girls wanted to go home, it's a positive sentence. So basically, their intention was to go home. So it means the girls did want to go home. That is the meaning of this sentence. That's why you use did, didn't. Okay, so sentence is positive, hence you use negative, didn't they? The girls didn't want to go home. Did they? Okay, that's the difference. So here the sentence is positive, you make it negative. Okay, thank you. Correct answer. That was a correct answer. Thank you. Let's continue. Next we have Arya. Can you hear me? Arya, can you hear me? You need to unmute from your end. Arya, can you hear me? If you're stuck, not able to answer, yeah, I think you can. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, thank you. Please answer the next one or read the next slide.
If the main clause verb is used to, the tag verb is did. A. Martin used to live in Oxford, didn't he? B. Yes, that's right. If the main clause verb is ought to, the tag verb is most commonly should or far less commonly ought. We ought to leave now, really. Shouldn't we? Or we ought to leave now, really. Oughtn't we?
When tags, continue. Okay, I'll read the last part. When tags follow imperatives, the tag, thank you. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see that?
When
Continue.
yes, sir. When tags follow imperatives, the tag verb is usually will. A. Remind me this evening. Will you? B. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Well done. So yes, I'll explain this part here. If the main clause verb is used to, so if the main clause verb is used to, the tag verb is did. Yes, absolutely. So when person is doing something, okay, or is used to. So Martin used to live in Oxford. Okay, so if the main clause is used to, you use didn't he. Martin used to live in Oxford, didn't he? Any other question tag, if you read, will not make sense, won't make sense. Okay, so that's why basically the meaning of used to means that he did live in Oxford. That is the literal meaning of it. Martin lived in Oxford, didn't he? Martin didn't live in Oxford, did he? So even if you remove used to and make the sentence, you understand that didn't he is the correct question tag here. Okay. If the main clause, the answer is yes, that's right. If the main clause verb is ought to, have to, these are similar. Ought to is like you've got to do something. In terms of the modal verbs, ought to means you should. Okay. So if the main clause is ought to, the tag is far less commonly ought. We ought to leave now, really. Shouldn't we? Or this is less common, that's why it's mentioned here. We ought to leave now, really. Oughtn't we? But we generally use shouldn't we. So it's like ought is similar to should. Okay. When tags follow imperatives, command, request, etc., the tag verb is usually will. Sentence here is remind me this evening, will you? Okay. Remind me this evening. If you use do you, did you, it won't make sense. The fact that you are asking someone to do something later, okay, you use will in future. Okay. Remind me this evening. In future, will you, won't you? Okay. You won't remind me this evening, will you? Sentence here is positive, but here it's an exception. When tag follows imperatives, command, you use will you. You don't say, remind me this evening, won't you? No, this is an exception. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, there are some exceptions to the rule of positive and negative. This is an exception when the tag follows imperative sentences where you are giving a command, okay? Asking someone to do something in future. Remind me this evening, will you? Okay. We'll look at some more examples. Just give me a moment. As I request you all to please be on mute. Others, thank you. Ma'am, please be on mute. You can read, please be on mute. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Next, Roopnath, can you hear me? I want you to answer the next one. Roopnath, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Roopnath?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, great. Please answer the next one.
Okay.
Did not I?
Guys, please allow the person who's reading to complete. Okay. Please respect the speaker. Yes, Roopnath.
As a child.
I used to save my nails as a child, did not I?
Can you read it again?
I used to save my nails as a child, did not I?
Didn't I? Okay, you'd read it as didn't I? Okay.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. So correct answer that is I used to chew my nails. Nakhun chabana basically. I used to chew my nails as a child. Didn't I? Okay. So we
Okay.
discussed this. Used to means is in the positive. You make it didn't I? Okay. Good answer. Thank you. Next, I see a number here 994322. I don't see the name. May I know your
Girija.
name? Girija. Okay. Yes,
Girija.
I remember. I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Number seemed familiar, but yeah, I remember now. Okay, let's continue.
I
Please.
couldn't change it, my name. I
Oh,
couldn't able to do it.
you weren't able to change the name. Okay.
Yeah,
Strange.
yeah.
Try uninstalling and installing it and see if it works. Okay.
I did it, sir, but
Still doesn't.
yeah.
Sir, if you are going to profile, you could change that, madam.
Yeah, profile only. I tried it, but it is.
You
I'm
have to
not
save
able to
it. Probably save it. It didn't get saved.
No, I have saved it.
Mhm. You mean profile on the Hello English app?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Profile in Hello English app.
Okay, so do one thing. I'd request you to just take a screenshot and send an email to premium@helloenglish.com.
Sure.
Okay, so
Okay.
my colleague will look into it. Okay, if you're not able to.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for suggesting that about the profile. Yes, please go ahead, Rija. You can read the slide.
Question tags turn statements into yes, no questions. There are two types. Type 1, the first type of question tag consists of an affirmative main clause and a negative tag, or a negative main clause and an affirmative tag. Negative tags are most commonly used in the contracted form. Main clause. She's a teacher. She's a teacher. Tag, isn't she? Affirmative main clause plus negative tag. He hasn't eaten yet, has he? Negative main clause plus affirmative tag. We can use type 1 question tags when we expect the answer to the question question to confirm that what we said in the main clause is true. You work with Anna. You work with Anna, don't you? Things things, is it true that B works with Anna? B, yes, that's right. Jill's not very old, is she? Thinks it is true that Jill is not very old. B, no, she's only 24.
Thank you.
I don't understand anything, sir.
No, that's okay. I'll explain. Which part did you didn't understand?
No, the second part from the main clause. She is a teacher, so from that.
Okay, I'll explain. So question tags turn statements into yes, no questions. Okay, there are two types. The first type is question tag consists of an affirmative. We spoke about positive, that's affirmative main clause, and a negative tag, or a negative main clause and an affirmative tag. So we spoke about does becomes doesn't becomes does. You got it? The first part. Affirmative becomes negative, negative main clause becomes affirmative. You got it? This part is
Yes,
clear?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Negative,
affirmative is positive,
Positive.
verb, right? Okay.
That's correct. Positive. Yes.
I'm very
Affirmative.
weak in grammar things, sir.
No problem. That's okay. Affirmative is positive. Negative, we all know, opposite of positive. So negative tags are most commonly used in the contracted form. Contracted form means isn't, like is not becomes isn't. So the sentences that we discussed here, the way you pronounce did not I know, you use it in the contraction. Didn't I? Okay. Is not I know, isn't, is not, you use isn't. Did not, you use didn't. Okay. That's the contraction. So negative tags are most commonly used in the contracted form. Now let's look at this sentence. She is a teacher. You're stating a fact, right? She is a teacher. If you use any other tag, will it make sense? You had doubt from here, right? So what is the meaning of she is a teacher? She is working as a teacher, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the profession is teaching, right? She is a teacher. She's a teacher is she is a teacher. So the opposite. So the sentence is what? Is it negative or positive?
It's
The main
positive.
the main clause is affirmative, right? She's a teacher is an affirmative main clause. So what is a negative tag? Isn't she, right? Affirmative main clause plus the negative tag. Second one says he hasn't eaten yet. What is the main verb in this? The main clause is affirmative or negative?
Negative.
Negative, hasn't eaten. So then the tag has to be
In positive.
positive. So has he. So hasn't becomes has. Is this part clear? You got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We can use type 1 question tags when we expect the answer to the question to confirm that what we said in the main clause is true. You work with Anna. A thinks it is true that B works with Anna. Good example this. Don't you? Basically, when you make a sentence like you work with Anna, it is understood that you mean you do work with Anna. So you understand it means it includes do. So you use don't you. Jill's not very old. It's understood. You're talking about person's age. Jill, we understand it talks about Jill is not very old. Is she or he? Okay, whatever. It can be a guy's name or girl's name as well. Jill. So Jill's not very old. Is she? Okay. Generally a girl's name. Jack and Jill. We know the poem, right? So is she? No, she's only 24. You got it? So when you make a sentence like you work with Anna, it is understood we are using do in this place. You do work with Anna. Tag is don't you. Okay. You got it? It's clear? Is it clear? You didn't understand the next part, the last part of the sentence. Is it clear, Girija?
Yes, sir. Clear.
It's clear? Okay, well, thank you. Okay, let's continue. Next, we have Rajkar. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's move to the next one. Please answer the next one or read the next slide. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Type 2. The second type of question tag consists of an affirmative main clause and an affirmative tag. Main clause You are Joy's cousin.
Joe's cousin.
Joe's cousin. Tag, are you? We can use type 2 tags when we do not know if the answer is yes or no. The in, intonation is usually a rising tone. So Maria, A. Maria lives in New York.
Very good. Thank you. So here,
Maria,
yeah, go ahead.
yes, she does.
Very good. Thank you. So here, the second type of question tag consists of an affirmative main clause and an affirmative tag. Here, we don't use the negative. We don't use "you're Joe's cousin, aren't you?" Even if you say Joe, you are Joe's cousin, the reason here it says is because, for example, if I make a sentence like, just give me a moment, I'll give an example with this. Okay, we'll come back to that explanation. Second one, it says we can use type 2 tags when we don't know if the answer is yes or no. The intonation is usually a rising tone. Maria lives in New York, does she? So here, the speaker wants to know if Maria lives in New York or not. In the first one as well, the speaker wants to know if you are Joe's cousin or no. Okay. So it's basically clarifying. So in these sentences, you can, these are known as an exception. Okay. These are known as an exceptions. Why? Because the positive sentence is followed by a positive tag. The reason is you want to clarify something. Okay. There are exceptions. Why? Because you want to clarify something. That's when you can use a positive tag as well. You don't have to ask, you're Joe's cousin, aren't you? You can use in this case, when you want to know something, you can use a positive tag. We'll look at some more examples and questions. The next person, yeah, please answer. Someone who's not answered. I'm not able to see the names. System is stuck on one page. We have Jyoti. Jyoti, can you answer the next one, please? Jyoti, can you hear me? Okay. Next, I don't see the name here, but I just see word AKD house. That's the name here. Ma'am, can you answer? Guys, please unmute and answer. Okay, you all have had taken turns. So now, please take turns to answer. We have the order here. We'll start with that. Anandi, Zishan, Krishna, Jyoti, Sonam, Sangeeta, Shubha, Girija, and Rajkar. Okay, please take turns to answer the questions quickly before the timer runs out. Go ahead.
John smokes a lot, doesn't he?
Very good. John smokes a lot, doesn't he? So basically,
John smokes.
Basically means he does smoke a lot. So doesn't he? Okay, very good. Thank you. Next, guys, quickly.
My mother has lovely hair. Is not she?
Can you pronounce that again? No, that answer is incorrect, by the way. Has. So has will become last one. Second one, sorry. My mother has lovely hair rather. Doesn't she? Why doesn't she and isn't she?
Does not, because third person.
Basically, you don't use hasn't she because here in this case, the meaning of the sentence, the clause is, my mother does have lovely hair. That is the meaning. My mother has lovely hair. Does she or doesn't she? Right?
Does not she.
You
Right.
pronounce it as doesn't she. Okay? Doesn't she. You got it? That's how you pronounce it. in the contracted form. My mother has lovely hair, doesn't she? We are not talking about possession, hence hasn't is incorrect here, okay? You don't use hasn't because we're not talking about possession. We're talking about someone's quality, okay? So a particular thing and its quality. So my mother does have lovely hair. That is basically the meaning of the sentence. Doesn't she have lovely hair? That's the answer, okay? Let's continue. Next person. Guys, please.
Where watching?
Please be on mute. Okay, next person, please answer. Guys, I told you all the order. Please answer. Zishan, Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You like this film we are watching, don't you?
You like this film we are watching, don't you? Guys, quickly. Next person, before the timer runs out. Guys, anyone? Yeah.
He can't speak English very well. Can he?
Very good. Can't becomes can here, okay?
Okay.
Negative clause, positive tag, okay? Next person. Guys, please unmute and answer. Just take turns and answer.
Brother isn't married, is he?
Very good. Thank you. Next. Guys, anyone, please answer.
Isn't she? Like, she's the richest woman in the town, isn't she?
Very good. She's the richest woman in the town, isn't she? Okay, good. Thank you. Next. Has anyone, please answer.
We should leave before it gets dark, should not we? Shouldn't we?
Shouldn't we? Yeah, very good. Thank you. We should leave before it gets dark, shouldn't we? Okay, correct. Thank you. Next.
You would not you.
Read the entire sentence, please. Can you please?
Would like a cup of tea, would not you?
So you pronounce this as wouldn't you? Okay. Can you read it again?
You would like a cup of tea, would not you?
So I'll read the sentence for you. Okay. You can repeat after me. And even the
Sir,
first.
how can we read you the how can we pronounce it, sir?
I was about to explain that. Just give me a minute. You'd pronounce it as you'd like a cup of tea, wouldn't you? You'd like a cup of tea, wouldn't you? This is the pronunciation. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat the sentence now again? The one who answered, the person who answered.
You would like a cup of tea, would not you?
You'd like a cup of tea, wouldn't you? Okay. Wouldn't. That's how you pronounce it. Wouldn't you? Okay.
Wouldn't you?
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. That's perfectly fine.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
You're welcome. Thank you. Let's continue. Next person. Someone please answer the next one.
They must not go too near the lake, must they?
They mustn't go too near.
They must not go too near the lake, must they?
Very good. That's correct. Mustn't go too near. So basically here it means you shouldn't go, they shouldn't go too near the lake. Basically, don't go very close to the lake. Okay, that's what the meaning is. So mustn't becomes must. Good answer. Thank you. Next. Guys, please take turns to answer. We still have a few more slides. Anyone?
You will see John tomorrow, won't you?
pronounce this as you'll. You'll see John tomorrow, won't you? Okay, you'll see
You
John
will-
tomorrow.
You'll see John tomorrow, won't you?
Very good, thank you. Next. Yes, guys, please go ahead.
We won't be going to that restaurant again, will we?
We won't be going to that restaurant again, will we? Thank you. Next.
Let's try and call her again. Let's try and call her again, shall we?
Shall we? Very good. Excellent. 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 Very
Thank
good
you,
answer.
sir.
Excellent answer.
Thank you.
Very good. Shall, okay, is an appropriate answer. Here, let's try and call her again. Shall we? It's a polite way of asking someone. Okay, so the tag is correct. The question is correct. Very good answer. Shall we? Next.
In this room already.
Yes, next person, please.
You have seen this film already, haven't you?
Very good. Next.
You are seeing Ami next week, aren't you?
Amy, right? So you are seeing Amy next week, aren't you? Okay, very good. Someone asked a question about are, aren't. This is how you use are and aren't. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Amy means?
Amy is the name of a person here.
Okay.
Amy. Okay. Amy is the name of a person, name of a girl. Okay. I can see that a couple of our pro learners have just joined. Why don't you answer? Yes. Shayani Mohan. Yes. Why don't you answer the next one? Shayani Mohan. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.